Welcome, everybody, back to the Reseller Island podcast, where we like to view ourselves as just a place to hang out and give you guys some background noise while you work because reselling, as we all know, can be very lonely. And it just feels nice to have a little something going on in the background. As you can see, Jake is not here today. He's potentially drowning in the river right now.
Hopefully not. Yeah.
We'll find out later, but hopefully not. But in his place, we got a channel member here with us today. Keith, you want to
Absolutely.
introduce her?
Yes, we have down below one of our channel members, Sarah Sell Smalls. How's it going, Sarah?
Great.
Welcome
How are
in.
you guys?
Very good.
Doing
Very
well.
good.
And we did determine she does not sell seashells by the
No.
seashore.
Oh yeah. We brought that up.
That's cats. That's cats doing.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So is Matt going to be joining you in the background? Is he just hanging out?
He's just hanging out, trying to do tech
support.
stuff.
Yeah.
He failed.
I need a Matt tech support guy in my room too at half the time. So that
Yeah.
let's see if Matt's for
Me
hire.
too.
It's helpful. I'm sure he would be.
Get Matt
Yeah.
a job at Spectrum and he can come hang out over here 99% of his time. Yeah, I hate my internet service.
You hate it?
Yeah, Spectrum, I hate it. But
They're just installing that here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we don't have it. Well, then I won't switch. Thanks for the info.
Well, I don't know where you live, Sarah, but I live out in the country and they're our only option. And I'm sure because I'm way out in the sticks, it's not like the greatest Spectrum offers anyways. I pay like big money for what they're telling me is the best internet they provide, but I'm out in the country, so who knows? There's probably better inner city.
We're out in the country too, pretty far northern Minnesota, so that's why we don't even have Spectrum yet.
Yeah.
I use an AT&T modem that hooks up through my old landline in my house, and that works pretty good for us.
So I was going to ask, you're in Minnesota?
Yeah, we're in northern Minnesota.
Okay. I was wondering because I saw your first video, and I don't know if that was older footage. And by the way, we should mention Sarah Sell Smalls does have a YouTube channel. Definitely check out Sarah's channel. We'll put a link in the description below. But yeah, so I watched the first video, and you were doing like a haul video from like an old house clean out or something of that nature. But you mentioned there was sleet on the ground or some sort of icy conditions. I don't know if that was old footage or if it was still cold.
Last month. So
oh wow.
May went from sleeting that week, and then when we shot a video the next week, it was 90 degrees. So
big turn.
I complain in the video I just put out about being too hot after being sleeting the week before. So
that's funny.
That's just how the weather is here.
I'm not sure how far you are from Grand Forks, North Dakota, but I spent a winter there one time, and that was no fun.
It was no fun. Yeah, it's about the same parallel that we're on, so it's pretty equally brutal winter.
Yeah, you guys have what I like to call real winter. Like down here, it's like 35, degrees. It might get into the teens in the evenings, at night, but you guys have real winters, negatives and stuff.
Oh yeah,
30 below air temp with 60 below wind chill. Yeah. So you don't stay out there very long is all, and you get some good clothing and bundle up.
I was going to say this was back when I was building cell phone towers, and you can imagine how cold it is on the ground. Climb 300 feet in the air with the winds doing up there. It's a lot colder, and your body, even fully decked out, like we know what winter feels like. We know how to dress for it, but even in our best, most expensive gear we could find, your body could only do like 45 minutes up there on the tower, and you'd have to come down and somebody would climb up and replace you. One of our guys' eyes froze shut because he didn't believe me that I told him he needed to wear goggles.
Oh jeez.
Yeah, he closed his eyes and couldn't get them back open. We had to rescue him off the tower. Absolutely insane.
Scary.
My parents used to tell me when I was a kid if I went outside crying that my eyes would freeze. So I guess that can actually
Interesting. Yeah.
I didn't know that could actually happen.
I've been dying to ask this question. since, because like Keith said, I watched your first video. I haven't seen the second part yet, but I did see the first video. And I've been dying to ask if Matt has seen Willow yet.
No, Matt has not seen Willow yet.
He said he was going to see it.
He's laughing.
He said in the video he was going to watch it. He's got to do it.
Okay,
I haven't seen Willow for like 30 years probably, so it's due for me too.
I haven't either. I remember a lot about a sliding scene or something, but yep.
Classic
but it
movie.
was. I liked it, and we sold it already. So
Nice.
It was a
Yeah,
lunchbox, right?
That was a
Nice.
cool lunchbox with the thermos.
yeah, with the thermos, it was in really good condition too. So that building was disgusting. It
So
was
what
like
was
100. It was like 100-year-old. It used to be an old bar in like 1900. Then it was a store. Then it was a clothing store. Then it was just a like antique store. Then it was just a catch-all for people's hoarding behaviors, I think. So they just weren't selling anything. It just was piling up. So he put an ad on Facebook. So we went over there, and he just like make a pile, but you couldn't even hardly walk in there. It was just. We tried to film, and it's just so dark, and the ceiling's like coming in, and it was icky. But we found a ton of really good stuff in there. So
I love those kind of places. Yeah, I love the treacherous pics where you're like climbing over stuff, and those are adds a little more excitement to the hunt. I feel like
I've got a buddy of mine. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Kristen, One Thrifty Mom, but her dad hit me up one day, and he's like, he texted me and Evan Flippy McFlipperson at the same time, and he's like, I got a guy who's got a building, $60, fill a truck, trailer, whatever you got, bring it, fill it up for $60, and I need to go over there and see what he's got, because the pictures I saw, this dude had everything, like just like you said, Sarah, just like a building stacked floor to ceiling full of stuff. $60, fill your truck up, your trailer, whatever you got. I mean, can't beat those kind of prices.
How have you not already been there?
I've been so busy. I know.
Yeah.
I did get my trailer emptied. I've gone to the local dump 2 or 3 times now with 2 or 3 trailers full of stuff that I was getting rid of, from not just my stuff, but my wife as well. So the trailer is empty now. I should go over there and fill it up.
Yeah, definitely. So is that what
like
you do?
3 times.
So how do you usually pick, Sarah? That's like that was a Facebook find? Are you like estate sale, yard sale kind of finds, or how do you do most of your picking?
Most of our picking gets done in the summertime, because obviously we have a very long winter. So garage sale season starts at very end of April, if you're lucky, and then goes through probably the end of September, and then they just die. So after that, it becomes picking off Facebook or trying to set up those kind of private picks like that. Or we do a lot of thrifting still at the local thrift stores and things, because we still, if you know what you're looking for, or you know enough, you can usually find enough to be profitable by going there.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So I like the Facebook thing lately, though. I've been setting up quite a bit of fun picks off Facebook. So if you're on there enough, which I shouldn't be, because I don't really need any more inventory at this point. It's just fun to go. So we have to bulk up in the summertime in order to have enough to make it all the way through the winter with new stuff for the store.
Makes sense.
Keith doesn't need the inventory either, but he keeps buying.
Yeah, it's a problem. Like I bought a hat collection on Facebook on Monday night. Or Tuesday night. I worked till 7:30, drove to Delaware, picked up a hat lot. So I didn't need them, but it was a good deal.
But it's a good deal. I know.
Yeah.
I get it.
Well, Shane, I do have a deal, Shane. My goal, and I have a goal and a deal. My goal by the end of February, I want to have half the warehouse emptied, which is not an easy, probably achievable goal. I want to not renew part of the lease on half the warehouse.
Yeah.
So I have Paul the Philly Flipper coming, and we're going to do like one of his whatnots for a week from the warehouse to try to like just clear as much out as I can.
Like you did, pretty good for you.
Yeah. So that's I'm looking forward to that. That'll be in August. I think the second week in August. So
I was gonna say I could always turn my trailer north, just head up your way.
Yeah, definitely. There's enough to go around, I think.
Oh, so I was late coming in here today, And Keith, I told you in chat, you'll appreciate why. So, Super Break Sports. I bought into a special edition box that they have. It's one of their supercharged edition boxes, $250, but you got a live wheel spin. So I had a Zoom meeting with one of the reps from Super Break Sports, and I did record it for my card ripping channel. But I got to spin a wheel for up to $2,000 in free products. And unfortunately, but still cool, I won $300 in free products. So I get my box I bought, which has 3 hits in it. But then I get $300 in whatever they decide to send me. Plus, the guy gave me a $40 or 40% off coupon for something on there as well.
Nice.
So I may get another case or something for almost half the price. But it was pretty cool. He let me record it and also put it up on the channel.
What's the box you bought to get in on the wheel? What was that box?
It's called the Supercharged. And man, they had their little, what do you call it? Like their little, if you go on their website, they show a photo of basically all the types of hits you can get. They had baseballs and all kinds of stuff in there, but it's multi-sport / historical figure kind of, everything's included kind of box, so
I feel like we opened one of them, me and Andy.
I want to say I remember you guys doing something like that, but it's 3 hits per box, and I guess all kind of stuff you can get out of it.
Cool. That's awesome.
But yeah, so $300 in free product coming my way too, and I don't know what it is, so that's going to be pretty cool to see what they send me. But the dude was like, "Yo, Shane, you got the best setup I've seen, and we've done, there's 100." There was 100 of these boxes. So they did 100 different wheel spins. And he's like, you've got the coolest setup out of everybody. And that's why I was like, well, I do YouTube and podcasts and all this kind of stuff. So this, the setup, has purpose. I said, but I'm recording right now, if that's cool with you. And he's like, yeah, absolutely. So
I tell Andy, always be filming, always be recording, even though you had the issue with earlier in the week with not recording. Right.
But, yeah. You want to talk about that real quick? Sarah, I don't know how much of you or Matt are sports people. I'm not a sports person, but I do know certain names, and I hit a giant one today. These 10 cards here are from historical autographs, and all 10 of them came out of the same box, and they're all what's called a cut autograph, meaning these people, a lot of them have passed on and they can't sign anymore, so they'll cut their autographs out of documents and things like that. And I got 10 of them out of this box, but the big one was this Ty Cobb. See if it'll focus on that. Ty Cobb 101. And this is like, I don't know. You could get Jackie Robinson, Ty Cobb, and Mickey Mantle. I think were the 3 biggest. Well, Johnny Unitas was in there too. So those are like the big names, and I got one of the 3 or 4. I don't know who would be considered the biggest hit out of that.
I think Cobb for sure.
That's what I was thinking.
Cobb and then Robinson. Yeah.
So I was absolutely stoked. Obviously, it's a 101, meaning it's the only one like it in the world. And sold comps for Ty Cobb cut autographs are showing around 4,000. So that's what I've got mine listed at right now. But
there you go. That's awesome.
I didn't turn the camera on when I was recording, and didn't record. And the reason being is because one, I was like, there's no way I'm going to hit one of the big guys, right? So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to enjoy this rip. It's going to be just for me. It's going to be fun. It's going to be relaxing. I'm not going to be stressing over, did I hit the record button? Is the mic too loud? Can you see what I'm looking at on the camera? That kind of stuff. And sure enough, I hit 9 of these autographs, and I was like, man, I don't know any of these people. I'd heard of one of them before, and it was only probably because he was from my time period. Jim Nettles. I remember Jim Nettles. The last one to pull was the Ty Cobb, and like I was shaking. I couldn't hold. I had to set the card down. I was afraid I was going to drop it, and I was like, why did I not record this? That would have been such great content. But it is what it is.
I get it. Just the relaxing rip is nice too. Not worried about other things. So
I got tonight's rip right here.
All right. I got mine
for
right
our
there. So, yeah.
hops and hits.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, Sarah, we do a live. Maybe no, but we do a live called Hops and Hits once a month. It's on 5 different channels. We do beer tasting and card ripping. So that's tonight, 8 o'clock
I didn't know that.
Eastern time. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So
I'll have
Sarah,
to watch.
where do you?
Multiple
Yeah.
channels.
Yep. Yep. Where do you sell mostly, Sarah? Is it eBay?
Just eBay. Yep, we
Just
just do eBay. Matt and I both have full-time jobs, working for the county. So we
Okay.
both work 8 to 4:30, and then we just picked this up as a way to get some extra money in the bank.
There you go. That's a good
That's
way.
awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Very nice.
Mhm.
I guess it's kind of lucky then we were able to get you guys on here at 2:30 in the afternoon with you both having full-time jobs like that.
It is a holiday.
Oh yeah, that's right. It
Juneteenth.
worked out Juneteenth.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
It is. I
So
completely
that's-
forgot about that.
Oh yeah.
That is why you get me, because we are county employees, so we get the day off.
I'm
Oh,
glad
very nice.
that worked out then.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I probably would have taken the afternoon off if you asked me anyway. So
Oh, that's nice. We're not worth it. We're not worth a day off. I don't think. But
if garage sales are, then being on your show would be too.
oh,
I leave work all the time. I'm like, I got to go to a sale. I'll be back.
there you go.
Nice.
There you go. Awesome.
That's one thing I liked about my job position before I got laid off. It was so free that I could pretty much do whatever I want. You know what I mean? Like I pulled up to the bins one time in my company vehicle, and it's got the company logo all down the side of it. And of course, as I'm pulling in, Josh and Haley, Harry Tornado, are walking through the parking lot. So I pull up beside him, and his camera turns up and looks at me, and he's like, "Hey, Shane." And then he cuts the camera while we actually have a conversation. And then I get a phone call from my boss, and he's like, "Why are you on YouTube in the company vehicle?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, his boss called him and said, "I just saw Shane on this YouTube channel that I watch." And I was like, "Why does he watch Josh and Haley? He doesn't even
That's funny.
resell."
Oops.
That's
But
funny.
they were like, "No, we just thought it was funny." They didn't care. But that's how my job was. It was a very stressful job a lot of the time, but I could stop and do whatever I wanted and come back to the chaos afterwards. And it was kind of freeing in that sense, but it was stressful while I was at the office.
Yeah, I don't have that ability. If I'm at an appointment or I'm doing surgery or something, I can't can't pull out the phone and look on district or whatnot. I'm tied to what I'm doing. But, yeah.
What kind of
That's funny.
surgery do you do? I don't think I know. Matt told me that, and I didn't know that.
I'm a veterinarian, so like dog,
Oh.
small animal, dog, cat, some exotic stuff. We don't do a ton of exotic surgery, but dogs and cats primarily. Yeah.
That Tegu was
great.
cool though.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you
I
the
thought-
only exotics guy at your place, or
No.
are all
No,
of you
we,
guys?
we all are. Yeah, we
That's
all are.
cool.
But there's not a whole lot of exotic vets in the area, so we do see a lot of exotics there because there's
Yeah.
a lot of places would turn them down. So
Yep. I think I know of one in maybe a 30-mile radius from me. So I guess it's probably like that most places. That's
yeah.
You got a need for dogs and cats more than you have exotic animals or even like horses. I can think of one vet place that I know of here locally that takes big animals like that, livestock and horses and
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, I had to learn horses and livestock, but I mean, I forgot everything I knew quickly after I took the boards, and because I knew I was never going to work with them. I didn't really. That was pretty intimidating because I was in vet school and there was a horse reared up and kicked the gate and right in front of my face. I'm like,
Oh wow.
I'm done with horses at this point.
Go.
I clung to all the alpaca cases and everything I could to avoid having a horse case. So I like to bet
Wow.
on horses. I like the horse track occasionally, but that's the extent of my horse abilities.
Oh man, speaking of that, yeah, we've talked about the Derby enough. Everybody knows I go to the Derby every year. But I went to pick up my beer today for tonight's show, and I was like, I'm gonna walk next door because it's a half and half liquor store / beer and wine store, and it's the biggest one in South Carolina. So they got tons of stuff, but they had a super cool Woodford Reserve, which is one of the Derby sponsors. They
Oh.
had a cool Kentucky Derby 151. That's what year it was this year. They had a cool Woodford Reserve bottle, and I should have got it, and I didn't, but it was super cool. And now
Is that wine? Is that wine or liquor or whiskey? Or what
it's
is that?
whiskey. Yeah, it's a bourbon.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
That's what they make their mint juleps and old fashions with there at the
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
Derby. So yeah, it was pretty cool. I should have picked it up, but I didn't, and now I'm regretting it, and I'm probably gonna go back
Sounds expensive.
tomorrow.
Was it expensive?
No, it actually wasn't, because it was their classic, like maybe $50. I think it was $49.99. They have a lot more expensive products. Woodford Reserve does, but that particular bottle was just their straight Kentucky bourbon. Middle of the barrel kind of cost like $50, but the bottle was cool. It was the label actually, but it was pretty cool.
It's not too bad.
No, but I
So
didn't
would you
buy
keep it
anything.
or drink it?
I would have probably kept that bottle just for the looks of it. Maybe one day when I get a whiskey sponsor for my channel, I'll do like a whiskey chat or something. I don't know. We'll figure something out down the road, but for now, it'd probably just, I have another bottle that's sitting on a cabinet on top of like this I don't even know what you call this thing. It's almost like a pantry or some kind, but it's a big old giant cabinet. It's very pretty. I bought it for like $100 on Facebook Marketplace because I thought I was going to turn it into a coffee bar for my wife, but then we ended up just buying a coffee bar. So I got that big thing, and now just liquor sits on top of it.
Yeah.
Oh, hello,
wow.
kitty.
Uh,
Cat said, I heard there was a vet in the house.
Yeah,
Oh.
right. This is Finnegan. Mr. Finn. He was a barn cat, and we
cool.
brought him home. He's a big boy. He's a big boy.
Look like it was big from the angle. Yeah.
Yeah, he got right in there. Yeah, to make his presence known.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he's a sweet boy.
We just moved 2 of our tortoises outside full time now. They're getting too big and destructive to be inside, so I had to build them a pen outside. So we got 4 turtles and 2 tortoises out there now.
Do they coexist in the same pen, or are they separate pens?
No, separate.
Okay.
They'll fight.
Okay.
They're both territorial. The eastern box turtles are territorial, and then the sulcata tortoises are territorial. So they're in their own 10 by 10 pins. Pretty nice though. Got them pretty set up, pretty sweet.
What do you like about having turtles?
That's my wife's favorite animal, and it all started as a rescue. She rescued one from somebody on Facebook Marketplace, and then it turned into, now we rescue every turtle and tortoise on Facebook Marketplace. So we have 6 of them now. But it's fun. She loves it. It's her favorite animal. She loves them. My dog doesn't seem to care about him. He'll poke his head over the fence and like watch them, but he doesn't really care about them too much. He'll watch them for a second. But no, she's just a big turtle lover. One of these days she says she's going to steal a sea turtle, and I said I don't think we're going to be able to keep that alive here in the Midlands of South Carolina. The nearest ocean water is 3 hours away. So,
and it will outlive you.
Yes.
Don't sea turtles live a really long time?
Yeah, and the tortoises do too. All turtles do, really. Like even eastern box turtles can live up to like 50, 80 years. But our sulcatas, we've had since they were hatchlings, and they'll outlive probably my grandkids.
Oh wow. Yeah.
So
do you have to like will your turtle to somebody?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Probably, right?
exactly. Yep.
Shane, I told this to a coworker who has like a rabbit rescue about setting up like a live feed, like a live YouTube feed just in the pen. But how about like, can you permanently like mount like a GoPro to one of them? Just have like a turtle vision 24/7.
That'd be pretty cool.
I bet people would watch it, right? Like the day in, day out life of the turtle.
Let's see. I got this GoPro here.
Yeah.
I could probably manufacture something to strap around one of them. Just
I
have them
bet.
cruising around.
Yeah, I bet you get the right angle, see him eating. I mean, I think it would. I bet people would watch that fairly
Yeah,
often. It's probably better than
that's,
any of our channels.
I know, right? I
I
watch
love that
stuff
you
like that
like
all the
they'll
time.
you'll see the mating, not just like that. I'll just watch him poke it around. The vet goes with, oh, you get to see him mating.
Yep, yep.
Have you seen that video where they give him a like a little skateboard and the turtle goes all over
Yeah,
the
he
house
like
on the little
aggravates
skateboard?
the cat.
Yeah,
Yes,
Yeah,
we should
he's
make them
awesome.
skateboards.
there you
Yeah,
go.
they. I think it's those little. You remember tech decks, Keith?
Yep, yep.
Yeah, I think that's probably what they got that turtle on in those videos. The little tech deck.
I
I've
saw that there
sold
was
some of them in the past.
Yeah, I know ADH Dave. I didn't know about them before I saw his video, and I think he had a bunch of them at one point.
Oh, I got me. You might be. You're a little older than me, so it might have been. You might have been in like high school already and not caring about that kind of stuff when those came out. But I
I
remember them from when I was a kid.
I rarely recall people like just ride them with their fingers and
Yeah,
that's I do
dude.
remember.
And they actually had like little skate ramps and stuff, and you could do
Yeah,
tricks in the air and whatever with your fingers.
yeah.
I never like owned any. I just remember them. I remember seeing the commercials and stuff.
That's probably what I remember
Don't
the
lie,
commercials.
don't lie, Shade. You had them. Don't
No,
lie.
I had real skateboards, and I was never good at it. Like I couldn't do any tricks. I sucked at it. I was more I wanted to like I loved Tony Hawk and Mike McGill and all these old school skateboarders back when I was a kid, but I was so much into baseball back then. Playing baseball is all I cared about.
Awesome. I never skateboarded as a kid, but I used a skateboard at my house. My driveway is a pretty steep hill, and I would put my trash can before I got like a wheeled trash can. I put my trash on top of the skateboard, pushed it up, and then rode the skateboard down until one
Heck yeah.
time didn't make it
Excellent.
down the hill, landed right on my shoulder on the driveway.
Oh,
That would have been an embarrassing way to break an arm or something, just falling off a skateboard in my driveway. But thankfully,
Mrs. Flips out there laughing and pointing
oh yeah,
and
she would have for sure. Yeah.
that last video she was in was hilarious, dude.
Uh,
Oh
she
my
was
gosh.
angry. I edited more out of that video but she was angry that it left the end in with
That was the best
the
part.
rubber kind. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I thought it was funny. She wasn't a big fan of it.
What's funny?
Excuse me. I thought it was great, and so did everybody else, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah. No, there was no negative comments, so it's pretty good. I'm waiting for her to be recognized out. I've been recognized a couple times. I'm a very small channel, obviously, but recognized by outlet flea markets. But I'm waiting for her to be recognized somewhere. That would
Yeah.
like that would kill
Mrs.
her.
Flips.
Yeah, she'd be mortified.
And they'll always say, you know, your rubbers or whatever you said to her.
Yep.
Yeah, you know,
That'll be what
rubbers.
they say to her when they see her.
That'd be great. I might have to pay
Uh,
someone for that.
I
She'll
don't
write
get.
that in her divorce paperwork.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Might be. Might be.
she gets royalties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't get recognized often. Now, when I first started my channel, I got recognized a handful of times pretty quickly. But since then, I don't get recognized fairly often out there. But I did run into, and I forget his name now, but the guy I mentioned that I ran into, I don't know, a month or so ago that said he knew who I was because of Jake. I ran into him again yesterday.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
so
cool.
at a completely different thrift store. So that was pretty cool to talk to him for a few minutes. He got there before me and he had some pretty good stuff. I left empty-handed.
Oh
So
wow.
he
Yeah.
found it all.
I haven't been to a yard sale in a few weeks. It's like been nasty weather, or I have shows. I had a show last Saturday, a clothing show, and then I have another show on Sunday this week. So it's sort of that time of year for outdoor shows. Well, the clothing show was indoor, but
Do you like selling on Whatnot?
I do. I sell less on Whatnot now, more on District, Dibdit, or Dibdit cards, regular Dibdit. I do like selling it that way. You know, it's definitely you're leaving money on the table when you're selling stuff, but I need to move stuff. I need to move inventory, so I'm happy to do it that way. But to be honest, the way I love to do it the most is setting up in person at shows, because you get to meet people, get to. I've made some good connections that way. It's a lot of work, but I do enjoy that almost more than anything else. So.
When's your next show you're gonna do? Is it the
Well,
national?
the national. I have a small one on Sunday. It's like my local town. A friend of mine, he has like a antique shop and a record shop, and in the back of it, he's doing like street fair, but it has a lot of like vintage clothing dealers. So I'm doing
Oh,
that
that's
on
cool.
Sunday. But the national is in end of July. That's the big one. So
Nice, nice,
yeah, starting to
nice.
plan for that.
That's awesome. I'm sure
Yeah.
you'll do well. I mean, I'm assuming you'll do at least well enough to make the trip out there and do all that setup and breakdown at the end and stuff. You must do pretty good. So
Yeah, I mean, every year is a little different. It really depends on what you bring, what you've picked up. I used to hold like the best items for the national. Like I would have like
yeah,
5 pieces that were like, you know, significant pieces that I would hold for that show. I don't do that anymore. If I get it, I list it right away. I don't hold anything for the show. But I am constantly strategizing for that show. Like this year, I'm bringing a lot more clothes than I ever have before. Uh, I
that's
have a
cool.
full rack of like Bulls, Bear stuff, so that should do well out there. So
Oh yeah, I
yeah.
would think so.
Are there a
Keith, do
lot
you
of
make
flea
more
markets in?
money?
Yeah.
Do you make more money as a veterinarian or as a reseller?
Hmm. Uh, Veterinarian, but it's not super far off. I mean, gross income definitely reselling, but I'm paying a lot for items too. So I definitely make more as a vet, but it's not super far off.
Hmm,
Yeah, yeah,
that's great.
I
yeah.
made a lot more as a project manager than I do reselling.
Did you?
But
Yeah,
reselling is fun.
it
It's
is.
enjoyable and it's working for yourself kind of thing is awesome. But yeah, I miss the 6-figure paycheck.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
Well, you did not
Are
have a
there a lot of?
county job.
No, I did not. No, I did not.
6-figure paycheck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to a buddy of mine at the golf course the other day, and he was telling me that he's about to retire he works for the University of South Carolina. And he's been there for, I think he said 34 years. And he's like, you know what the craziest thing is? He said, I'm a 55 years old, 34 years at the university. I'm about to retire, and I still don't even make $50,000 a year. It's like,
Oh,
dude, I couldn't
Yeah.
imagine 34 years somewhere and never like I feel like you have to make more than that just to survive these days. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
the cost of living has gone up
Yeah.
exponentially and the pay rates have not gone up from what I've seen anywhere. So I couldn't imagine pouring 34 years of my life into a place and never really like more than breaking even, I feel like, as far as 50 grand a year goes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So Sarah,
I
from
don't
your
know.
video, do you focus a lot on? I saw you like bought glassware and like you had some milk glasses you bought.
Yeah.
Are you like an everything buyer, everything seller, or is that like that kind of decorative kind of piece do you look for?
I sell everything that will make me money. So
Okay.
pretty much
Okay.
everything, except for, I don't know, maybe some magazines I wouldn't sell probably, but
Gotcha. Yeah.
most things I would sell. I was going to start by selling jewelry, but then I quickly learned that there's a lot more money that I was leaving on the table everywhere if I just focused on the jewelry. So
Yeah.
to grow the store, we expanded, and now my house is full of items. So because
Yeah.
we're going to rent a storage locker, but since it's June, they're all full. So like all full around me. So we have to wait, and then once we get that, we'll be in better sorts here because we did a little bit of a reseller buyout from a fella in Duluth where we bought. He had went to an auction and bought a whole bunch of figurines and things from a gift shop that closed long ago. So all the figurines are pre 2005, and they actually sell remarkably well for
Hmm.
what he sold them to me for. I think he just didn't want to deal with them anymore. So I have all of these figurines that I have to shoot, and we bought a bunch of tiny shoes, which sounds crazy, but people collect these little tiny shoes, and we got 600 of them because we bought them for 33 cents a piece. I can lock them together, sell them minimum 5 of them for $20 minimum. Some of them sell for quite a bit more than that. So it's just, I think he just didn't want to do the work and didn't want it in his garage anymore. So We took two 2-hour trips away and filled the car twice and came back, and now the garage is full. So it was just too good of an opportunity.
Yeah, I know that feeling where I shouldn't buy any more, like Shane said. But if you know it's a great deal, it's hard to turn it away, right?
Yeah. So we do buy a bit of everything.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool though. That's good. I used to be so laser focused when I was out at the flea market for like certain niche items that I would realize you don't find that stuff that often. So I did diversify what I buy too. Sometimes to problems. I don't really necessarily things I shouldn't buy. I buy, but it's
if you source it cheap enough, it doesn't hurt you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
you take some chances. So the shoes,
Sarah just said. Sorry, Sarah just said storage unit or whatever, and it reminded me there was one I was watching and I completely missed it. It just ended minutes ago. I just forgot all about it.
And by the way, Shane, we forgot to. It worked out. Oh, you buy storage units too? Oh, the shoes you're going to show.
No, I found I had a tiny shoe, so I thought I would show you the tiny shoes.
Okay.
Because they make me laugh. So, but people, it's called Just the Right Shoe, and they only have the right shoe inside. So it's just like these tiny little shoes, and there's 600 of them. And so I'm going to sell them.
Are they all the same?
Because no, they're all different. We had to do inventory on 600 plus tiny shoes. And it also came with like an entire box of tiny furniture and a tiny box of just lots of tiny things. So
interesting.
Yeah. You never know. Cool. I wouldn't have done it, but I comped them. Yeah, I comped them, and I was like, well, for 33 cents a piece, I can't really say no to that. And then we ended up picking up hundreds and hundreds of dollars worth of inventory from this guy. Made a good connection with him. And then I hooked him up with an auto guy that I know because he does auto stuff. So worked out really well.
That's awesome. Yeah, the reseller buyout I did at the end of November last year was one of the best buys of my reselling career. Because like I got everything for like 25 cents to 30 cents each, and I made it killing. I gave her $500 for close to 2,000 items and have absolutely killed it.
Awesome.
I mean, just killed it.
Yeah. Those kind of deals are great. I mean, I guess that guy with the shoes, he probably maybe made his money off at the beginning and then like got bored with it and said, "I'll pass along the deal to somebody else." Who knows? But
I've done that with stuff.
Yeah, you get tired of it, right? You don't want to. Yeah. And his wife was insistent that the garage get cleaned up, I guess. So,
yeah.
Yes. We also got a whole tub of chapstick. A bunch of squishy bananas, like with the sand in them. So I gave them to people at work. So it was just a mishmash, like Longenberger baskets. It was just a mishmash of all sorts of things. But he said he went to an auction in the middle of the winter and nobody else was there because it was snowing. And he said he got everything so cheap.
Dang, I wish nobody would show up to auctions where I live.
Yeah.
Because I'd go to every one if I knew I was going to be the only one there. I'd have to get a warehouse like Keith.
Yeah.
I just have to come borrow half of Keith's. I'll catch the other half of your lease, man.
There you go. Actually, there was a big sale in a gift shop that closed in Massachusetts 5 years ago, and unfortunately I didn't know about the sale. It was like an estate sale, but this store had all these like wooden college statues by a company called Henri. They made all like college mascots, and they had like thousands of them in this building, and they were super rare before that. I sold them a lot before that, but once this sale happened, eBay was like flooded with them. They were all over eBay, and I bought a ton of them from a dealer who just sold a bunch, like similar to the shoes. I bought like his stock. He just got them for so dirt cheap. And I've been selling them for like 5 years myself. And I still have a bunch. They still sell well, but before that fine, they were like $300 each. Now they're like $30, $40 each. But
oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a big drop.
Yeah.
I'm controlling the market. I'm controlling the market on the tiny shoes. So
Yeah, well, that was a problem with this buy, because there were so many different people bought them that they were all like competing with each other. The price was dropping.
Yeah.
If I would have bought them all, I still would have had like 99% of them just listed one a month for each year. You know, that's the way to do it. Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
What do you guys think about this?
Something.
Right? The quarter of the market. What do you guys think about the new AI listing going to start happening with eBay? Have you heard about this?
I've heard about it, but I haven't.
Yeah,
I haven't really researched it yet. But I've seen other people talking about it, and there seems, from what I can tell, there seems to be more support for it than rejection. From what I've seen, people seem to be kind of excited about it. So I personally need to do some research. I don't have an opinion on it yet because I don't know enough, but I've heard people are pretty excited about it.
Yeah, I'm the same. I've heard about it. I've heard a lot of discussions about it. I don't use AI much in terms of my listing at this point. I use a lot like for like Chat GPT for nothing reselling related, more like my YouTube crafting that my wife calls it, like my thumbnails and whatnot.
It's craft time.
Yeah.
Crafting hour with Keith.
Yeah. But
new channel.
Yeah, here we go.
New channel.
The two new channels, Turtle Life, and
that's right.
Yes.
Yeah, there we go.
Yep.
But yeah, it'd be interesting to see where that goes. I mean, I'm sure it's changing pretty quickly or advancing pretty quickly.
Yeah,
if it gets rid of my death pile, fine with me. I watched a text video about it today, and he that guy's a lot. He's he's like, I wrote the program. You still need to list good things. Don't list bad things on my program.
Oh wow, yeah,
that's funny.
But I mean, if it's accurate, I mean, nowadays the Google Lens is so very accurate when I use it, and even eBay's is getting more accurate when I use it. I'm amazed when it can identify something really small. With jewelry and things, sometimes it can be hard to figure out what you have ahead of time.
Oh, yeah. No, I
agree.
It's been
really helpful.
The Google Lens is so amazing. Even the eBay Lens, if that's what that's called, is like amazingly pretty accurate too.
Mm-hmm.
It's always astonishing that it'll pick out exactly what you have there. Other than like facial recognition, I do like a lot of antique photography, and like that, it's never great with any Google or AI.
I brought something, Keith, because I wanted your opinion, because I watched your video that you put on the channel about photographs.
Yeah.
And I have it. I don't know if this is going to show up very well on screen, but I have this photograph.
Okay, early ship.
It's actually the first flight.
Oh, wow, okay, I can see it. Yeah, I see the angle now. Okay, it's a biplane.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Not doing very well, but it's a silver, I don't remember, when they have the silvery tone.
Silver gelatin. I see the guy with the silver reflection.
Yeah, I can see it reflecting.
Okay. So we bought this at Goodwill after a 2-day discrepancy between Matt and I about whether or not I needed this print. But it's not a print, it's a real photograph. And so Matt ended up calling the store the next day and being like, could you put that on hold? And we went back a town over to go get it because I think it was literally like $3 or $4 for it.
Oh, wow.
But we live in an area where there was a lot of early interest in early aviation. And there was also a ton of like mining money and railroad money and all of those things. So we have a lot of kind of richer, older people that are dying and donating their things. And so I'm curious if I've tried to figure out if this is I know it's a real photograph, but from what I read, Orville Wright used to print his own gelatin photographs. And then the plate got burned when it went to the Library of Congress. So this is the research I've done. So when it went to they have all his plates, and then after there was a fire at the Library of Congress, and they got harmed. So any print after that would not look like this print I have. And I can't get anybody to tell me if it's real or not. We've tried to contact the school, all sorts of things, and I just haven't had much success. But I actually think it's a real photograph that he printed himself. So, and there's a thumbprint on the side of the print. There's an actual thumbprint where I bet you, because he used to print it himself and sell them. So I'm just curious. I just think it might be real.
Have you taken it out?
Probably not. You should probably just send it to me.
Yeah.
I
I'm
like
excited to hear.
early aviation stuff too.
Do you? Well, I just
Yeah.
couldn't. I had to go back. I mean, it was free. Oh, look, it was $3.99. I have a tag.
Oh
Heck
wow.
yeah.
It was framed really nicely, but it doesn't. It just says Gallery Studio, and we did take it out of here at one point in time. But I do see that we've put all the pins back in. But we did.
Yeah.
I took it out. I had gloves on even to make sure.
That's cool.
And I sent it to one of the auction houses. They didn't care. So they like we don't care. But it's really. I wish I could show that better on my phone. But,
You can see the silver pretty well. I'll send you a
Yeah.
name. I'll send you a name on Instagram that my dad does a lot of like high end early photography.
hey.
And there's an auction gallery called Swans. I think they're in New York City in Manhattan. He's talked to them about some pieces. He does more with like he bought a big collection of this photographer Viggo Mortensen. I think is the photographer's name. Maybe it's an actor. Is that the same? Is that the
That-
He's an
actor?
That's
Yeah.
that's that's
Maybe it's not. It's
Aragorn, I believe, from
yeah.
Lord of the Rings.
Well,
No,
it's definitely
that's the other.
Mortensen. It might be not Vigo. Maybe just added Vigo. But he was
Maybe
like an early.
moonlighting.
Yeah. This guy was like a 20s, 30s, like glamour photographer, did a lot of like high end models. Like he did, I think,
Ooh.
Marilyn Monroe later in his life. But he's done a lot with his photography and he talked to Swan about it. So that's something I would reach out to them because they know early photography pretty well.
Thanks.
And yeah, if it's a type 1 photo printed by one of the Wright brothers, that's pretty amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's an amazing find in my opinion.
Yeah.
Right. I could not. I had to go back. We argued about it for real. I was like, we have to go back and get this. After I got home and kind of looked it up, I was like, well, there is a good chance that could be by him because of the burning of the original print.
And even if it
and
wasn't,
it's such a
yeah.
cheap. That's such a cheap education. Even if it's not real, you bought a $4 education.
$4.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's I buy stuff like that all the time that I'm like, you know what? If it doesn't turn out to be legit, I got some education out of it, you know, for just a few bucks. And that's worth it to me. But I love selling that kind of stuff, early aviation pieces, and I've bought quite a few from Keith here, but that if it's legit, that's gotta be pretty big money, I would think.
Yeah, it's a hard piece to put a price on. That's why, you got to. That's a piece you got to at least talk to an auction house about and get the.
I mean, imagine that's the plane, right? And who'd you say it was, Wilbur or Orville?
I think it's Orville that did the pictures.
So that might be Wilbur standing out there. You know what I mean? Like if it's that legit and he made that photo, that's gotta be killer.
Well, actually, it was another photographer who was there who took the photo. There was another photographer, but he took it with his camera, and then the Wright brothers took the prints back and then made prints to sell out of them.
Either way, that's killer. Yeah. And I mean, you could have one of the Wright brothers and their actual plane that took their first flight right there.
Yeah.
And 100% original. That's got to be worth some pretty good money to these collectors out there. That's insane. Yeah. That's such a cool piece. I hope it's everything you want it to be.
Yeah.
I hope that's why I've just been sitting on it, because I've I have to find the right person who will care about this.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's why I asked about, did you take it out of the frame? Because that's the first thing I do. Anytime I buy like an early significant looking photograph piece, it could have been like Wilbur's handwriting on back, right? You don't know what the back marking is going to be. So that's unlikely, but you never know. Like there was the market I go to every Sunday morning. There was somebody bought like an old and this has been in the news. People talk about this for years, but somebody bought an old frame just for the frame with a crappy print in it and took it home, took it apart, and there was one of the copies of the Declaration of Independence in the frame. So you never know. People would do that.
Amazing.
Just repurpose. Yeah. So.
Well, his thumbprint that you see, you can't see his thumbprint here, but the thumbprint is in where it's matted. So there's an actual, you can see where he grabbed the paper.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, the negative.
Yeah. Or the plate, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed for you.
I mean, even if it wasn't Wilbur, it's still an original photo of like an early biplane. I mean, there's value there. It's worth significantly more than you paid, even in the worst case scenario, right? So,
right. I mean, you can't fake that kind of silver gelatin photograph, can you, Keith?
No. It's definitely. I think it's going to be a vintage photograph. It's definitely nothing modern. Yeah.
That's super cool. I'd be ecstatic. Even like you said, Keith, even if it turns out to not be the Wright brothers, it's still a super cool vintage early piece of Americana history, and somebody out there is gonna love it.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah.
So,
Thanks.
Very cool.
Would you like to buy it? It's very expensive.
I got a Ty Cobb. Dude, let me sell this Ty Cobb card and we'll talk.
That's awesome.
I'd love to sell that thing pretty quick. I got it listed for
I've
$4,000.
honestly, it's been sitting here for probably 8 or more years because I just cannot find the right time. And then
8?
probably 8 years it's been sitting around here. Yes. Yeah. So I had to wait until this time so I could ask the expert, obviously.
And I have a
perfect little segment there because you did put out that members only video talking about that, so that was great.
Yeah, it's who would have thought, right?
I made Matt dig it out. Like, get the picture, Matt. I have to ask him.
Yeah, I'll get you that info because that's worth sending an image off to those people because they know early photography very well.
Thank you.
And obviously, aviation, that's nothing more American than aviation, right? I mean, as far as like our history, so that's pretty cool.
Heck yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
Keith,
I have a lot of pieces like that.
Did you learn that from your dad? You said your dad does vintage photography.
No. I mean, I sort of got him into picking when I started. We both share antique shop space, so we sort of developed that interest together. And I think I probably started buying antique photography first, but now he buys a ton of it, and just had some cool finds of like different unique photographs. So
I never find it. Never.
Oh yeah, it's probably more of an East Coast thing, maybe, or it gets anywhere flea markets. It's more flea markets than yard sales. You're not going to see it at yard sales typically, but yeah, and I guess I sort of self-taught all the history of photography. Because when I first got into sports collecting, that's one of the things I bought, early photographs of sports, and then diversified into sort of just general interest in photography. So, although I'm never taken a photo other than like, for eBay on my phone or whatnot. So, yeah.
And Shane, where did you learn to do the picking that you do? Where did you learn your skills from?
I mean, I've been going to flea market and yard sales ever since I was a kid. That was something my mom would always take my little sister and I to do every weekend. So I've always had that love for it, and especially now that my mom's gone, every time I go out, like it takes me back to going when I was a kid. So I absolutely love it. But all the knowledge I've gained over the few years that I've been reselling has honestly come from watching YouTube videos and making friends in this small community and learning from them, because I don't have one. I guess if I had a niche that I feel like I'm really good at, it's golf clubs. And I play golf. So I mean, I already knew what clubs cost a lot of money and stuff because I buy golf clubs and have for years. But outside of that, everything I've learned has come from people like you guys, who I watch on YouTube or chat with and on Instagram and Facebook and places. So I mean, it's kind of boring and lame, but that's exactly where I learned from,
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been doing it a long time.
Yeah, it was so like when we were kids and my mom was taking us, we were going to the flea markets and yard sales because mom was poor. You know what I mean?
We went to garage sales.
That's what she was, a single mom raising 2 kids, and that's what she could afford. So that's what we did. My sister and I, we always got something cool. Like back then, I was getting like Garbage Pail Kids. The flea market was the only place there were card vendors. That we didn't have card shops back then. So that was the place you would go to get sports cards or Garbage Pail Kids. And yard sales, mom would always get us, like maybe one toy or something that we would find throughout the day. So like it was just fun for us, it was a day to get something cool. And I knew I was going to get Garbage Pail Kids if we went to the flea market, and my sister got whatever it was she was into. We weren't really, picking to make money. Mom was picking to survive, I guess, get stuff for the house and things like that she couldn't afford to buy retail. So wasn't a whole lot of learning about resale back then, but still doing it today. And just some really good memories picking with her, not, I don't guess we were picking, but now I just learn everything from you guys and everybody else on YouTube and try to keep growing, because I learn something new. People say you learn something new every day, but I feel like I do. Every time I watch somebody's video, I'm like, I didn't know that,
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, cool memories too.
Oh yeah.
By the way, I looked up the photographer. It was not Vigo Morton. William Mortensen was a photographer my dad had.
William.
Vigo sounded cooler. Yeah, William.
It did sound cooler, but I didn't know him to be known for photography.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, apparently Ansel Adams talked about this guy as the greatest photographer.
I do know Ansel Adams.
Yeah.
Ansel Adams was great too.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep. Very, very good.
Are there flea markets up in your part of in Minnesota at all? Or is that a thing up there?
Summertime, yeah. Some mostly in the summertime, yeah, but they're not like a regular thing you can go to every week or count on. It's just something that pops up, or they do them yearly at this time. We have a lot of kind of small cities around where I live, that if you just drive 20 minutes, you're in a different little tiny city. And so those tiny cities have their weekend garage sales, and they kind of space them out. So it's almost every single weekend for 2 months straight, you can go to community garage sales. So around here, it's more that you're doing a community garage sale, and a lot of them will do a map and everything for you. So you have a map, and you just follow the map and check them off.
Very cool.
Heck yeah. Our flea market's a year round, but like I said, at 35 degrees in the wintertime is about as low as it gets down here. A little colder sometimes, but the flea markets are open year round, because there's people that, that's what they do for their full-time job. And the flea markets just stay. The flea market's like, all right, we'll keep making money if you guys want to keep selling. So
yeah, mine don't close either. Now there's if you go in January when it's 10 degrees out, it's sparsely attended by dealers, but I've still bought stuff out there then. So it happens still.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah, I imagine they don't want to tear down here in the wintertime and have to tear everything down and then start over again.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I remember, Keith, in one of your recent videos, and it seems funny saying that because it's June, but in one of your recent videos, you were talking about how freezing cold it was. So it was clearly December, January or something. But
yeah, I'm behind in footage a lot. Although I haven't picked in a month probably because of weather, and I just have a lot going on. So I'm relying on all this older footage, but at some point
that's good though. We're starting to accumulate that here on the podcast now.
Oh yeah, we at least got one in the chamber, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. It's in my Dropbox. Jake's just got to get in there and grab it.
Yeah. I don't think it was that super timely that we can't use it 3 weeks from now, right? I mean, there was a little bit of some. Yeah, it's always there to go.
Yeah, I don't think we talked about anything crazy time sensitive stuff. So
yeah. There you go. Yeah,
my video I put out this week. I'm 2 weeks behind, so I'm not as far probably as you are. But my video that I put out this week at one point. I'm talking about a comic book raid train.
I saw that.
That we're gonna have out on June the 2nd.
Yeah,
and the video posted on the 16th.
Yeah.
It's way to go, Shane. You screwed that up. I was in a funk, man. I just didn't for 2 weeks. I was like, I don't want to do anything with YouTube right now. It's just kind of, I don't know. I don't know if it was a mental thing or what, but I was drained after dealing with my grandmother-in-law's passing, and then we had that weekend getaway to the theme park I was telling you guys about, and I was just worn out, and I was for 2 weeks I just didn't do anything with YouTube. So I finally kicked myself in the rear this week and got it done. And then when I was editing that video, I was like, I should probably just cut this out. And I was like, no, I'll try to be authentic. I'm not going to cut it out.
Yeah.
Just let everybody know how stupid I am.
By the way, speaking of your weekend getaway, 2 weeks ago when we had the podcast, we talked about your storage unit that we were going to update. Remember the sports one? So I don't think it said it got canceled, Shane.
It got canceled. Yep.
Okay.
The last bid was up to $3,010, but then it got canceled. Now I don't know if it got canceled because here in South Carolina, well, that's Georgia, so I don't know. In South Carolina, the original owner of the unit has up until you come and pay. So a lot of them here require cash. So you can win the auction, but you got to be there within a certain amount of time to pay cash for the unit. And the original owner of the unit has up until that time to make their payment. If they make that payment, it'll cancel, which probably can suck for the storage unit facilities, because if they make a payment of $200 and the unit went for $3,000, they're probably like, ah, crap. Because, it's just the auction I was looking at today that I missed. This is the third time I've seen this unit go up for auction. So a lot of the people, it's tough times out there. They're going to struggle in making their payments or whatever. But that unit went $3,010 was the last bid I saw before it canceled. So I don't know. They don't give you any, reason why it was canceled. I don't know if it wasn't going high enough and they were like, yeah, we're not gonna, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, we're not selling this for $3,000. That's, $20,000 worth of stuff in there.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of resale value there. Yeah.
Who knows what their reasoning was, or if whoever owned it just bought it. But the way they had it so eloquently set up makes me think that there were shenanigans as to why this got canceled. Like they were wanting more money.
I've never
because they
seen a
had
storage
that
unit set
thing
up that way.
displayed beautifully.
Oh yeah, yeah. I agree. It's probably like it was almost like a reserve auction where like the owner was like, "Here, I'll sell this. So it gets to $10,000, you can sell it. If it doesn't, it's the secret reserve, right?"
Yeah,
I mean, they did have that kind of vibe.
But yeah, so unfortunately, I didn't get it. That would have been cool for anybody to get, but
it was a cool one.
It got canceled, unfortunately.
The other thing I know, I think I've heard, is it Georgia Picker talk about this, that like maybe it's in Georgia, I don't know what state it is, that if the auction house sells a unit for, say the people owe $1,000 in rent or whatever, and the unit sells for $3,000, they have to give anything over what the storage companies owed back to the original owner. So if it's $1,000 due rent and it's sold for $3,000, the storage facility would keep $1,000. No worries.
It's all right.
The storage unit would keep $1,000, and the $2,000 would go back to the original owner. I don't know if you've heard that, Shane.
I've never heard that before, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, because that's I've heard him talk about. Yeah, did you hear about that?
Somebody this week was talking about that Pods does that too. That if you that company Pods or something, that if you buy from them, that they give that extra back. And I thought, really?
It's weird. Yeah. I guess that's why they were saying that some of those like fake storage units where it looks like high-end boxes that are just empty boxes, they're like staging them so they'll get that bid above what the rent is owed, and they'll get that free cash. So shady people.
I didn't know Pods did that. That's a genius way to source, because people put their whole lives in those things.
Yeah.
When they're moving or something,
Who was that?
I bought some Pods in an auction a long time ago. It was at
Did you? I didn't realize they did that. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember who it was, but I don't think he was very happy with the result of his
purchase. Really?
Yeah. But I never heard that they gave the money back. I mean, that is great if that's actually what they do, because it is. I think it probably depends on the state and the laws in the state that your business is operating, whether or not you have to do that. Because I imagine most storage units make a lot of their money off of selling that extra stuff that gets left.
Absolutely. Yeah. I know it was Georgia Picker, and he was traveling out of state. So I don't know what state he was in at this point, but somewhere close to Georgia that had that law, because I remember he was talking to the manager at the unit and complaining about it. So whatever, maybe it was South Carolina would be the next state up, right?
Yeah, well, there's South Carolina, Tennessee, Alabama
Okay.
are the three. I think that's the three. I don't think Georgia hit. Well, does Georgia? It might touch North Carolina in the very top northwest corner of Georgia, but
Okay.
it's one of those four states: Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, Alabama. So yeah, one of those four states outside of Georgia would have had to have been.
Well, yeah. If anyone saw in the comments below, tell us what state that was. I'm curious because that was the situation with that one.
Yeah, I've never heard of that personally.
Yeah.
I don't buy a whole lot of units though, so
Yeah. I think I bought like 10 over the years, and it's been I bought one last year, which was I only bought it because it was a tiny unit. It was the size of a closet. It was worth the risk. I didn't really get anything out of it, but I used to buy them more back in the day.
yeah, I keep looking because I want to get back into it. I've only bought two, and one of them got broken into and all the stuff stolen before I got there. So
That sucks.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I got my money
Did
back.
you?
Obviously, when I
Oh.
pulled up, another time I didn't record, man. Like
Oh,
last time I bought a unit, the first unit, I recorded, going up there and getting it and all this. This time I was just like, whatever. And I go, don't record. I get there and the door's down on the unit, but it's all jacked up and the lock's missing. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be, broken into. And I should have stopped what I was doing then and started recording. But I called the facility first because this is one of those facilities. It's unmanned. So they have like this kiosk or whatever that you can rent a unit and get a unit or whatever, but there's no one actually there. But somebody had broke in. The gate was wide open when I got there. I didn't think nothing of it because most units, storage facilities around here, the gate's open during the day, but there's people on site. This one doesn't have people on site. So I show up, the gate's open, I pull down there, I see the door, and I call immediately because I was like, I don't want them to think that I'm lying. Like, once I open the door, am I going to be liable kind of thing? So I call them and I'm on the phone with them forever. And then they're like, okay, go ahead and open it, video chat us kind of thing. So by then I was like, there's no way I can start recording in the middle of all this. So, but I think that would have been pretty good content.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, it would have been pretty interesting for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, you gotta.
Especially, do you remember? I made a Facebook post. I don't know if I actually talked about this on video, but I knew the guy. I found a piece of mail on the ground, and I was like, "Are you kidding, man? This is a dude I grew
That's
up
wild.
with."
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
like we're Facebook friends. Like I don't hang out with him on a regular or anything, but like we used to hang out all the time when we were teenagers and young adults. So I
Small
was like,
world,
do
huh?
I call him out or hit him up and say, look, man, I want my stuff or my money kind of thing. But I was like, you know what? I'm just going to let the facility deal with it. They can call the police,
Yeah.
whatever they got to do. They refunded me my money within minutes. It was cool.
Oh, that's good. At least it wasn't a
Yeah.
problem that way.
Yeah. I was
He
worried
probably
about
went and
that.
stole his stuff. He probably went and got his stuff back.
As soon as, because they notify you, right? I'm assuming as soon as your storage unit gets sold, I'm sure they notify you because, like I said, in South Carolina, you have up until somebody comes and pays for it to get it back yourself. And so I'm sure he was notified your unit just sold. And he just went straight up there and broke in, knowing it's an unmanned. There's cameras out
Right?
there, so they would have them. There's even one pointing down there to that unit, so they would have him on camera doing it. But yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah. Sarah, do you sell on live stream at all, either Whatnot or District? Have you ever done that?
No. I
No.
hate shipping. I hate shipping.
Yeah.
And so if you're going to do live shows, you have to do a lot of shipping. And
Yeah.
You do.
Matt and I have agreements that he does all the things in boxes and I do everything that goes in a poly or a poly mailer or a bubble mailer. So
It's a pretty good deal.
some nights he has packages, some nights I have packages. So it works
That's
out
not
well,
bad.
but I can't. It's really nice. But I
Yeah.
can't imagine having stacks of things to have to ship and track and take care of. I've already screwed up and sent people the wrong thing
Oh yeah.
just in my regular eBay store. So um, I would not necessarily opposed to it, but I don't like that aspect of selling so many things and then having to ship all of those things.
Yeah, that is it. That's the worst part of it for sure. I have
My
yeah.
I was
Go ahead.
just gonna say my wife and I have an agreement where I do all the shipping and she does none of it. So
And she does nothing.
I have an agreement too, but it was never anything signed but my wife ships every pennant now. And I've never even I just put them out for her. She ships them. I don't even ask her anymore. It's pretty good.
Oh,
We sell a lot of pennants. So I've taught her
well,
how
I
well,
to
hope
that's
do
so
that.
nice.
because you got 40,000 of them. So I
Yeah.
hope you're
Yeah.
moving them.
We're moving them. Yeah.
I've bought a couple from you, so
Yeah.
hopefully that made you feel good.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's good to move them. Yeah. But I
Do you
ship all
guys
the other stuff.
the live selling?
I do for moving bulk. I mean, again, the shipping is a chore, right? I have like 60 things in the warehouse now that I had to. I think I did the sale on Friday or Saturday, and I was planning on doing another sale today or tomorrow. So district, you can sort of obviously you can do that. You can accumulate and ship all together, but it is the way I'm doing it now is the best because I had this giant like metal rack. It almost is like four of these bookshelves next to each other, but they have spaces that are like 10, maybe 8 inches tall by about 12 inches wide. And there's like all these slots. It's supposed to stand up vertically, but I drug this thing by myself. It's metal. I drug it into the warehouse and put it where it is and dropped it on its side. And it's perfect. So you can just stack stuff in, put labels on front. Like this is this person's bin, this person's bin. So that really helped a lot, keeping it all organized. Even though I was had a lot of massages the next week to recover from dragging that thing into the warehouse. But
I will
yeah,
say District is definitely the better marketplace for live selling
yeah,
for shipping purposes because you can combine shows and stuff like that. You can't do that on Whatnot. So
no,
if you sell on Whatnot, you got to ship that right away. Even if you have a show the next day, you can't combine. So it's kind of a pain in the butt for especially for new sellers who might be intimidated by shipping
yeah,
because it's very very easy to do a show and have 60 to 80 to 100 items that you have to ship pretty quickly. So it's nice whenever you do multiple shows and say you got one person that bought 10 different things, you can put all 10 items in the same box and ship out just one box instead of 10 separate ones like you would have to do over on Whatnot or
yeah,
Whatnot. So I will say District is the way to go for me, but I enjoy it. I don't do it as often as I would like to, but I don't find enough. I'm not able to source enough stuff. I don't feel like to stay constantly running live shows. So
yeah. It would
I
be
wish I
tough.
could.
I mean, doing what Dave's trying to do now. I know Dave like listed an eBay item according to his recent video, so he's back on eBay. But
Yeah.
that would be challenging to do what he's doing now to try to just source by picking, unless you're a storage unit buyer, and that's a different story. Then you could probably
Yeah.
do it on live stream. But I know when the little bit that I buy at flea market to sell on live stream, it's a hard. Yeah, sometimes I'm taking losses on a lot of things because it the stuff I already own it's already profit. I could care less really. I mean, I'll give better deals on that stuff on live
Yeah.
stream, but
Keith gives really
yeah,
good deals on
yeah,
stuff he doesn't care about.
yeah. I care.
I
I
know
guess care. Yeah,
me and Jake have bought some pretty good pieces from you in the past
yeah,
that you're
yeah,
like, hey, whatever it goes for, it goes for. And if it goes for cheap, which some of it does go pretty cheap. And,
yeah,
like I've sold multiple things that I've bought from you for $2 or $3 for over $100. So
yeah. That's
early
I mean,
aviation pieces.
yeah.
I'm
We've
gonna
loved
start
dynamic
watching your
pricing.
show.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the stuff that I live stream, I purposely do not like comp it out because I mean, if I
Oh,
already set if I set my mind that I'm
good
gonna like
idea.
live stream it, I mean I might research a little bit so I can educate people in the stream like this is what it's worth. But once it's in my mind that I'm gonna sell a live stream, I'm not gonna pull it back and put it on eBay. Uh, because I'm trying to move the stuff and that's sort of what I do. But I
Well,
knew, yeah,
it's a good way to keep people coming to your show too, right?
Yeah.
Because they know they're getting great deals. Like a lot of people, even myself, I've had shows where I've had things that were only worth a few bucks, but I was like, you know what, I'm gonna run it just in case there's somebody who wants it for $1.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's always awesome. Like I've brought in multiple $100 items. I had a new with tags Michael Kors $300 retail coat that I sold on there. I had nearly $500 silver goblet that I sold live selling. Um, I want to be able to give people reason to come back to my shows. So I
Yeah.
always have at least a handful of items that are very, very profitable that I know I'm gonna make money on, but not nearly what I could had I sold them on eBay. Like that goblet, it was
Oh
pure
yeah.
silver, 925 sterling, and it went for like $168 or something. It is a $500 goblet, but melt weight is just over 200.
I was going to
So
say,
you,
what's the melt weight? Because yeah,
I could
then
sell it live and get, $168 for it, or sit on it for 2 or 3 years while I wait for the right buyer to come and get it for 500. I'd rather give somebody else a great deal. So,
Yeah.
and it
And
was one of those reseller buyout items, so I got like a quarter into it. So $168 off a quarter. I'm okay with that.
and what Paul was doing in his live stream on Whatnot was pretty ingenious, where he was just pulling random things from this collection, but he had like 15 things maybe that were like he would run every 30 lots or every half an hour. He was running one of these like lots that were listed. You could pre-bid on it, higher end lots, and he would just sprinkle them in throughout the day. And I mean, those lots were killing it. Getting all, I mean, they went for several thousand, many of those lots. Although the one time and I've had this happen to myself on Whatnot, where you hit run next when you're running randoms, and you hit run next, and it kicks over to like one of the pre-listed items, and it's already running. At that point, he ran like a binder of cards that was like probably a $5,000 to $10,000 binder, and sold for $600 because it was like 10 seconds. People were scrambling to try to
Yeah.
bid. So, but yeah, that's a good way to do it. Have if you're even if you're gonna do random polls, have some stuff listed so you can get those pre-bids on stuff. Which
Yeah,
I
that's
was
smart.
yeah.
I never do that.
I don't either. Other than the one time I did all pre-listed, that was my best show ever on District. But that's a lot of work to pre-list everything. At least
It
like
is.
he's doing
That's how I
pre-list a
always
few
did
things.
my book shows on Whatnot.
Yeah.
But I would always take photos and list every single book, and it takes a lot of time to do that.
Oh yeah.
But if you do that and then you post your show and it's a week in advance, that's a week people can be checking it out, pre-bidding on stuff, things like that. And while you're running the show, a lot of people are scrolling through just to see what's in there, and they'll find something like, hey, I got somewhere to be in 10 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and pre-bid on this kind of thing. And I have, I can see where that would make you more money if you did your
Yeah.
due diligence and took pictures and listed everything versus just running everything. Like I do 20-second auctions when I go live, and
Smart.
sometimes things, get run up a little bit, but sometimes things go for my starting bid, and I feel like maybe I should have, posted that one as an actual listing and let pre-bids happen on it, because, I know it should have gone for more than it did. But if there's only 20 people in my show when I ran it, that particular item, the people that would like know what its value or whatever, they may not be in the show at the time, so it didn't get bid up. But
Yeah.
I think
if
I
you're
think
going to
that
do,
that makes sense to do it if you have the time. Just do all your listings before your show and promote your show.
Yep.
I feel like if you have really good things, like for sure do that. But otherwise, just you might as well be just listing on one of the platforms. Then, if you're going to do all of that work, it seems like they're about the same. Then, like you might as
Yeah.
well just be doing eBay listings or listings for
You're
a
right.
different
You're right.
platform.
And that's why I typically don't do it that way. Because you're right. If you're doing all that work to photograph it, do I want to sell it for less than the top dollar that I could get on eBay?
That's
So
true. Yeah, I
yeah,
didn't even think about it like that. That's
yeah.
very smart. Yeah.
So that's why I think
Time wise,
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I think Paul's way is the best. He's doing some high end things, photographs, but everything else is random
yeah.
polls. That's probably the best of both worlds, where you're not putting all that work in, but you're still getting some of those pre bids on the higher dollar stuff.
That would make sense. If you love something and you don't want to let it go for like nothing, then do the
Yeah.
the pre-auction thing. But otherwise, I would just let it fly if you're ready to let the stuff go.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love live selling. I think it's fun. And I've said this multiple times on my channel and stuff. My favorite part about YouTube is my live shows and the shows I do with Keith and Andy and Sean. Were like tonight's live show we're doing. That's my favorite part about content creation is getting to hang out not only with people I'm on screen with, but interaction with the chat and stuff like that. So that's probably my favorite thing about live selling too, is I'm talking with people and it feels like I don't really have a social life. My wife and we hang out together and that's really it. We don't have a social life. We hang out with my sister-in-law and brother-in-law and stuff, my sister and her husband as well, but we don't really hang out with friends and stuff. So YouTube and the live selling aspect, that's kind of my social life. So that's why I'm a social drinker. So usually if I'm live, I have a drink in hand, and people have, questioned that, but it's a social thing for me. And that's my favorite part about being live, whether it's on YouTube or selling or whatever, is just being able to chat and hang out and have a good time. So even if I'm not making a ton of money during my live shows, I'm still having fun. The chat makes it fun.
Absolutely. No, I agree. Live streams are fun. I haven't had one in a couple of weeks. I had so much going on last night that we had to cancel my live, but I'm looking forward to getting back to them.
I was looking forward to it, and I was looking because I was gonna set the notification to let me know when you went live, and I was like, wait a minute, where's it at?
Yeah, I was late. Yeah,
there's no show scheduled.
It was a late cancellation because I texted Andy like Wednesday morning. I'm like, it's canceled because we're gonna be scrambling to try to get it done. I canceled my show with Dan and Demand did the cards too.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because I set up there's a new clothing shop in my town that opened up that I'm doing all the sports clothing for that shop. So that was like the opening day. So I went down there. Me and Mrs. Flips had dinner. I was hoping she'd get recognized, but she wasn't.
It's coming.
We had dinner and then we hit the shop. And to tell you, that shop, man, it was killer. First day opened at noon. It sold from noon to 8. I have it on my phone. $840 in sales in 8 hours in that shop.
Nice.
So like for the opening day. Yeah. I'm sure it's not going to be like consistently like that, but that was like well above the rent for like one day. So
yeah, that's killer, man. Opening day probably is going to do better than some random. But that was also a Wednesday, so a lot of people opening day is going to be this weekend for them. You know what I mean? So they may get a ton more bid this weekend. You may kill it too.
Yeah, and I already restocked it today. I dropped off like another 25 pieces this morning, so get a little fresh merch. So
and if you get known as the place that has it in town, then and that's the only place you're going to get this super cool vintage stuff, then it should work out month to month.
Yeah, and the guy who runs it has a huge Instagram following. He runs the big vintage clothing show in Philadelphia, so he's the owner of the shop. So it's pretty cool because they have like 6 different sellers or curators that they cycle through, like the different people each month. Although I'll be there every month, so it's
like an antique mall.
Yeah. It is, yeah, very consignment kind of shop vibes, yeah. So it's cool. Yeah,
that's
something
cool.
for everyone. Women's wear,
and you can find the weirdest, most outlandish things sometimes in some of those places.
Oh yeah,
I love shopping those kind of places. Even a lot of time, there's not much resale value in places like that, but I don't go there looking for that kind of stuff. I just go there to find weird things, and I always find weird things.
Yeah.
There's going to be some vendor in there that's got this weird collection of stuff that you don't see anywhere else, and I love those places for that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All I really wear is vintage clothing. Like, this is an old like barbecue place shirt that the pig on the one side, the pig's butt's on the other side, just super soft. So that's all I wear. It's got to be soft.
Yeah,
that's how I roll.
That is the best part about those old shirts.
Oh yeah, somebody's already done the work for 10 years to break that in for you, right? That's
right.
Just gonna give it a good wash and you're good to go.
I stopped and picked up lunch today on my way back home from thrifting, and for Lindsay and I at this place called Steve's Deli. It's a local like sandwich shop or whatever. And there was a dude in there waiting on his food whenever I walked around to the side where they bring the food out. And there was a dude standing there in this super dope vintage t-shirt. And he was just like your everyday guy. He was probably a construction worker from the looks of him, super dark tan and stuff, and works out in the sun for sure. But I just kept thinking, man, I'd love to have that shirt. I forget what it was exactly, but it was single stitch. It was super cool. And I didn't have the nerve to ask him if it was for sale. You know what I mean? Like, it's probably the only shirt he's got out to trade.
Can I buy the shirt?
I don't want to give up my Ninja Turtle shirt.
I've tried that. I've tried that multiple times out at flea markets, never successfully.
No?
I try to buy multiple coats, a hat. Nobody will ever take off the back. They call that off the back or off the dome. Never successful. Someday.
Well, now I just kind of want to try.
Yeah.
Was it Dave or Josh? One of them did a video down in Florida where there was a group of them in a thrift store, and they literally bought the shirt off of some lady in the thrift store. Yeah, I just can't remember who it was. It was Dave or Josh or one of that big group of guys. And I want to say it was one of the times they were all down in Florida together, but that was pretty cool seeing that happen. I want to say it was like I don't know if it was a Flintstone shirt or what. I can't remember, but it was a really cool shirt, and it worked. They bought it straight off her back, like she got something from the thrift store and went and changed.
Probably cool. The thing to do, just so we're prepared, Shane and Sarah, is like just have a nice brand new shirt and brand new hat in the car, right? So if you ever do that, I got a new shirt for you.
Yeah.
Just carry around an extra large just to be sure.
Yeah. You got exactly.
Hope it works.
Yeah. So just
carry around a Snuggie. Yeah. Just bring a Snuggie with you and be like, this will fit everyone. So
there you go. Yeah.
It's very comfortable.
One size fits all.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Because I know Chernock did that. Chernock bought like a rare, I think it was a Anaheim Mighty Ducks shark tooth snapback off like a very elderly gentleman and gave him like an old hat, like a new hat that he had in the truck. And he got killed on.
Oh, I bet.
Oh, I'm sure he did.
Yeah, because he gave him I think he gave him like $20 for the hat. I think I'm not sure on the amount, but yeah, the video did well, I think.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he did get killed in the comments, but I mean, I think that's awesome, dude. I mean, he gave him another hat too, right? So
yeah,
like that's cool.
He was smart. Now we're all prepared. Now we need to learn from him. I don't have a hat in the car, but I'm gonna do it now that I've said that.
I got plenty of Soda City Flips hats over here that I can.
There you go.
That's what you should do. Yeah, carry your business and just off the dome or whatever you said.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Off the dome. Yep, that's it.
Now I know. Off the dome.
That's the lingo.
I'm gonna try. One of these times. See if I can talk someone into giving me something else. Person.
I think it's awesome if you can pull it off, man. That's killer.
I've tried it at the Super Bowl. I tried it at Eagles games. It's that's not the good spot to get Eagles gear off of people when they're at the game.
Yeah.
Well, no.
Cold day, but
the rabid fans are not going to give it to you.
Yeah. But I've tried everywhere. Flea markets never worked for me. But you got to keep trying. One time it will. That'll be great content when it does.
Yeah, eventually it'll happen.
Yeah.
I had a lady make me try on her Harley jacket before she would sell it to me, and thank God it fit, and I zipped it right up like, ooh, sucking it, and it fit, thank goodness. And I sold that, $20 Harley jacket for $100, so it worked out great. But she made me try it on in front of her, like she was not going to sell it to me if it didn't fit me.
Like she wasn't going to sell it to a reseller, like only if you were going to wear it.
I guess I don't think I was giving off any resale vibes at all. It just, she had a bunch of Harley stuff and I was like, I like this jacket. Would you take X amount for it? Which was a little less because it was the end of the day. And she was like, you have to try it on. I was like, okay.
It's interesting. Yeah.
That's funny.
I've
never been demanded that I try anything on.
It was really strange. I looked at Matt, he looked at me and was like, well, try it on. Like, okay.
I love when I'm at a yard sale and I'm looking at golf clubs and the guy will be like, those are ladies clubs. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I don't have the heart to say I'm just going to sell them. But,
right.
they're looking at me like this big dude's got he's buying ladies clubs. Like, I don't think that's going to work out for you, buddy. But I don't ever.
Maybe
They
your
don't
wife
say.
needs some clubs.
Yeah, who knows? I'm sure I could come up with all kind of reasons why I need those clubs, but
Yeah.
they just always they go, those are ladies clubs. Like, yeah, I know.
Or they tell you that the size doesn't fit, or the clothing is like different for those. That's all men's clothing. Well, I'm still going to look at it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I know men.
I know a few at least.
There you go. Oh man.
So is Ron's Pit still around?
I don't even know where Ron. Let's see where it is. It's actually your neck of the woods.
Know where it is.
Clover, South Carolina.
Oh,
Where's that?
that's up on Lake Wiley, South Carolina. Clover. That's my buddy Jesse lives there.
Highway 55 at 5 Points is where it was.
Yeah, Highway 55. That's cool. So Highway 55 is if you know where Charlotte is, right? Because I know you said you went to Charlotte before.
Yeah.
Clover is probably 45 minutes if I had to guess. 45-minute drive.
Okay.
So you would come down into South Carolina on Interstate 77 and then basically take a right and cut across over to Lake Wiley area. But that's where Clover is. That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, it's comfortable. I never knew where it was from until you asked me that, to be honest.
I bet they have delicious barbecue.
Yeah. It's let me look up, see if they're still open. Ron's Pit.
I feel like all the barbecue I see from the South looks so much better than what we have up here.
It's pretty good.
Looks
It's
like now
spicy, and I can't handle spicy.
it's permanently closed.
Oh.
It was also called Ron's Pig Palace on Wheels.
Oh.
Wow.
Before
So
they
that might
got a
have been a
store.
little, before he had a brick and mortar, he was rolling.
Yeah.
Your shirt just got more valuable.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, you ain't getting that any new ones anytime soon.
No.
You can try to off the back me if you see this out in the flea
I'm
markets.
I'm gonna be like, I need that shirt.
Yeah.
I got some vintage brothel shirts there. Maybe I should wear one of them and see if somebody wants to buy one off of me. I can't fit either one of them. They're both too small for me.
I think I looked at them on eBay. They're pretty cool. The Vegas ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, from the brothels out in the outskirts.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep. They're the Cherry Ranch or something, and I forget the other one. I got them from Archie Biscuit Butt at a live show, actually.
Oh, very cool.
I could not believe nobody else was bidding on those.
Yeah, they were.
I got them for like $2 each.
Nice.
I got them listed for 100 and 150 or something like that.
Oh, that's how much they're worth?
Yeah. That's sold comps are kind of in that general location, but these one of them has like I forget exactly what it is, but one of them has something that none of the other ones on eBay has, so I got it listed a little more than sold comps. And then the other one is just like super clean, so it's a little bit higher. But I got tons and tons of watchers on them, but nobody's pulled the trigger yet.
I think I'm the watcher on one of them. At least I was. I have a shirt that's similar that Mrs. Flips hates when I wear it. I only wear it around the house or not with her, because it's like an adult.
Because she won't let you out with it on.
Yeah, she wouldn't be seen with me, but it's like an adult.
Yeah.
It's like a men's club in Philadelphia, but it's slightly graphic, but it was from the 70s, super soft again. It was all, and I like a red soft shirt. Red. This was nice and red, but yeah, she's not a fan.
That's
I think
funny.
One of them, right?
Yeah, one of them. One's black, one's red.
Yeah.
Back the first time I ever went to Michigan, we were in Detroit building cell phone towers. And I remember when we first got there was a gentleman's club. They had a billboard out by the highway. And I'll never forget it. Classic gentleman's club, half naked woman on the front of it with the name. But they had a quote or a motto or slogan or whatever. And it said, "Hundreds of beautiful women and one ugly one." I'll never forget that. What? I was like,
I'm here for the ugly one.
Yeah, which one of you, if they think about that, which one of us is the ugly one?
But no, I couldn't. Advertising, right? Just create it, get your attention. Like, what the hell? Like, Like there's a
Yeah.
billboard in Philadelphia. Like there's one jeweler that all his ads are like I hate Steven Singer is his ad. Like because I guess men hate this guy because the wives always want jewelry from his store. So
Oh,
it's every like billboard of his is in that vein. Like I hate him. So
Yeah.
similar idea. It's just like what the hell does that mean when you're driving past it?
Yeah. There's
sometimes
one.
they're clever.
Yeah.
Speaking of Charlotte, right as you cross the state line from South Carolina into North Carolina, there's a billboard for a divorce attorney, and I can't remember her name, but I don't. This is gonna make me sound bad, but it's only because I watched a documentary with my wife recently about the Ashley Madison website. Do you guys remember Ashley Madison? Their slogan was "Life is
Come here
short,
and cheat on your wife.
yeah, life is short, have an affair." That was their slogan, and it was a website for you to go and cheat on your spouses.
Never heard of the website or the documentary.
They had a they had a security breach where all their memberships, everybody got leaked to the public.
Ooh.
So a lot of people lost their wives and husbands and jobs and all kinds of stuff. But anyway, so we watched that documentary, and I saw that it said life is short, have an affair. This lady in Charlotte, the divorce attorney, her slogan is life is short, get a divorce. And I'm like, I mean, I get it, but yeah, life's too short to stay married to you. I'm just
well, I think for some people that maybe hits harder than it does for you. Like there's people who go by that billboard and go, yeah.
There probably is, and I didn't even think about it like that. I'm thinking of the other way, like, no, you don't tell people to get a divorce. But I guess there's some people out there that
you're like trapped
need
in
to hear
a relationship.
that. Yeah. I guess there are the other side of the spectrum. These people probably need to hear that. But I was like, she took have an affair and said, no, don't have an affair, just get a divorce, which is the smart thing. If you're going to be out there doing that kind of stuff, just leave the person you're with, man.
Yeah.
Truth. We have some billboards in Duluth that there's this attorney that puts there's so many billboards. It's like you're going to Wall Drug. Like you can count the amount of billboards. It's just his face is everywhere. And one of the bakeries started trolling him by putting up their own billboards about how many billboards he has, but this one is about a bakery. And then he put up billboards trolling their billboards. So it's been pretty funny.
That's interesting.
It's funny you mentioned Wall Drug, because have you ever followed an interstate for so long? You see all these billboards, and then when you finally get to the place, it's like underwhelming.
Wall Drug is that exact thing.
That's how I felt about Wall Drug.
Yeah. I think we counted the signs.
I went on this back when I was working out in like Wyoming and in the Dakotas and over in Montana and stuff. I did like this week backpacking trip, was just me and my Jeep, and I just backpacked around, and I went to Wall Drug, and I was like, it's just a gift store, pretty much is all it is.
Yeah, an expensive gift store.
But I mean, it was cool. Like I happened to go to Sturgis the week of Sturgis, so that was kind of cool, like getting to experience that. Even though I don't own a motorcycle, I've never even ridden a motorcycle, it was cool to witness that Sturgis event in person. But I went to Deadwood, South Dakota, the Badlands, and I camped out at the base of Devil's Tower in Wyoming. It was such a cool trip. Just a week of doing that. So, but yeah, I was so unimpressed with Wall Drug after all the hype.
I still bought a keychain because I was like, I counted like 90 signs before we got here. I'm buying a keychain.
That's funny.
Well, Sam, we're over an hour and a half. Do you want to?
Sarah,
we might as well. Your channel? Yeah, wrap it up. You want to talk about your channel, Sarah, a little bit?
Sure. We just launched our channel, so don't judge. We just launched, so we're learning and we're working. This is the first time I've been live on anything, actually. So,
cool.
Awesome.
So thanks for having me. By the way,
yeah, fun having you.
So fun to be here. So we're going to do garage sale picks. We've got Matt's got a lot of footage to edit still of us going actually out garage sailing and picking. People don't really do that in this area, so we try to be kind of careful with gauging if they're okay with us taping.
They'll let you know. They will.
Yeah,
They'll let you know.
That's what we figured out. So.
Usually, I just asked, is that a camera? And I say, yeah, I have a YouTube channel or whatever. They're 90% of the time they're cool with it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But they will let you know if they don't want you to.
Yep.
So hopefully we don't run into too much of that, but people are just they don't see it around here. So they're like, what are you doing? Like, why do you have a camera? What are you doing?
Yeah. For me, it's like I'm almost never people spot the camera, or at least they never say anything about it. So it's like I think maybe on one hand, the kind of time people have even said anything about the camera. I mean, it's sort of I wouldn't worry too much about that part of it. But yeah.
So,
on that note,
reminder.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, reminder, your channel is the same as your social name, right? It's just Sarah Sells Smalls.
Sarah Sells Smalls. Good old alliteration there. So
yeah.
Help you remember.
So definitely check that out, guys. I think you have 3 videos out. Is that what I saw?
We have we have 3, and we're going to try to drop a new video every Tuesday. I think that's our plan, is to try to get a video out every Tuesday. So that's
when
what we're going to try to do.
Mine drop too. I was doing Tuesday and Friday, but I'm trying to stick to Tuesdays now. Seems like a good day. Not a whole lot of videos drop on Tuesday, but Trash to Cash, we gotta battle with them guys on Tuesdays.
But that is a key for any new channel, is being consistent with a day, like just picking your day and just people know what to expect when it comes out. That's right. Because
I look forward to days when I know people's videos are dropping. So
yeah, you never know with this podcast though. You never know when this was coming.
Yeah,
out.
sometimes they don't drop at all.
If you don't drop this, and I was on here for an hour and a half, I'm gonna be disappointed.
No, we're dropping it. If I'm taking care of it,
in control of this one.
Yeah.
There was so many problems last week.
You lost your privileges.
Oh man, they lost StreamYard, so I was like, okay, I got EV Mux. We can record the show on my platform, EV Mux. But then we got it recorded, and I couldn't get logged into the YouTube channel for the podcast. It just wouldn't even give me the option. It just kept telling me, you don't own this channel or whatever. So I'm like, okay, guys, how do I get this to you? So I ended up, I was like, oh, I have a Dropbox account. I can drop it in there. So I sent the link over, and then Jake never grabbed it or whatever. And I know he's super busy or whatever. And I don't know what happened, but
he might have been away, and I was at work. So we'll but this one will come out. This one will come out Monday, 9 a.m. hopefully. Yeah. But on that note, though, we should thank our members. Obviously, one right here, Sarah Sells Smalls. We have Pipe Dreams and Reverie, Eagles and Beagles, Caleb Sells, Joe from Virginia, Sarah Sells Smalls, Biscuit Butt, and then the 3 of us. And maybe there's more. Jake usually tells me if people are added, so we'll get you next week if we missed you. Appreciate everyone.
Thank you all.
Yeah.
And Sarah, thank you for coming on, and Matt in the background with all his technical support.
Come here, Matt. We'll let him say hi, huh? We'll let him have his 5 seconds of fame.
Here we go.
This is Matt.
What's up, Matt? How's it going, Matt?
What's up, buddy?
Thanks for the tech support back there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, he can't. I forget. He can't hear you.
That's right.
He's saying this thing. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone, for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. Look forward to seeing more of your videos.
Yep.
They look forward to more videos. Good. He said. I forgot you couldn't hear him.
Yeah, that's all right. No worries. Shane, do you have anything coming up, Shane? Video on Tuesdays?
No, not really. Just standard video drops, hopefully on Tuesdays. I don't think I can handle Tuesday and Friday right now, so I'm trying to stick to just Tuesdays only. I don't have any live shows to mention that I'm aware of. Monday night Soda City Social live every Monday night. But other than that, I think that's it.
Okay. And I have a video every Saturday. It comes out 1
I didn't
p.m.
know you did live.
Flips. Shane?
I interrupted. I'm sorry.
No,
I didn't know you did live every night on Mondays, Shane.
Yeah, Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, every Monday.
Well, heck yeah. I'm going to be there.
Yep.
Appreciate
Shannon,
it.
I have a live on Wednesday night on my channel. Usually we
Yep.
missed a couple of weeks, but we'll be back. We'll be back 8 p.m. Eastern time.
Excellent.
But yeah, that wraps it. Yeah. So that wraps it up. Thanks, Sarah. Thanks for joining us. Fun time. And we'll see everyone next week.
Yep. Y'all take
Peace.
care.
See you.